honor and a pleasure to talk to Jamel Herring.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you for the time.
Anytime, Micah. Thank you for having me, man.
BKFC, a transition over from the glove boxing to bare knuckle boxing. A lot of people question the move. How many times did you get the why are you doing this? What are you thinking before that debut fight?
I got it a lot. I got it a lot. Just because mainly just of the fact that a lot of traditional boxers, we look at our fists obviously as our tools. So they was more worried about me basically messing up my tools. But I think once they see me get through that fight and how I looked in the fight, I got a lot more praise and less like I think this time around I've heard less on why, and more like okay, I see what you're doing. It's more like just now just still just continue to be careful, but not so many questions on why I'm doing it.
How much different though was it than what you expected from amateurs to professionals to your entire career? You have boxed a lot,
Yes.
but I always get the response that this was a lot different than all of that though.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think again, when you have those gloves on, you have a few inches at the end of the glove to find your spacing and timing. So without the gloves, it's just you and your physical body now. And you have to find your new marks as you coming in and getting out of the danger zone. But I think after like the second round, I started finding my rhythm. That's when it started becoming okay. I know where I need to be at. I know my timing. I feel good. I feel loose now. Okay, let's just go out and just have fun and do what we do.
From the competitive perspective, from making the adjustments, from being in there, did it feel that much different of a fight night for you than the last several years had been?
No, I think once that adrenaline started kicking in, it just felt like I was in my natural habitat. You know what I mean? Like I was where I belong. I belonged at in the ring. Obviously the ring is a different ring from a boxer's ring, but again, nonetheless, it is a ring. So I felt like once I started finding my groove, it just felt normal, and we had fun.
To wonder if there was commitment. The second fight here, main event of BKFC 89, and you're fighting for the title. Was there ever like a feeling out process mentally for you in the thought of, is this for me? Will I go back to traditional boxing? Or when did you become sold? Because obviously, to fight for the title, you're pretty sold.
No, I was pretty much sold after the first fight. When I spoke with the guys in the back that actually make the decisions in the BKFC and the praise. I know at the times during the first fight, the crowd was getting a little uneven, I mean, unsteady in there because of obviously everybody was getting knocked out left and right here, and I can agree. But for the most part, from the ones at the top, and then you seen like social media, I got a lot of praise from my performance, and so it just felt good, and I was like, okay, this is where I want to continue to go down this path because again, once I start something, I want to finish it on my own term. So that's why I was heavily pushing to get, a world title opportunity. And when I got it, I was over the moon.
Pretty sure I wrote a pretty gushing paragraph myself about your performance. I mean, a very tricky guy with an awkward style in Matt Guyman. How much were you able to learn in that about the different kind of styles you're able to present in bare knuckle compared to boxing?
Timing. It came with him, it came down to timing again. And but people don't realize like I was getting turned down fights left and right. So when Guyman came across the table, I just immediately took it because I just wanted to get in there. And plus I figured that, before that fight, Matt Guyman he fought Ryan Reber. And then Reber ended up getting a title shot with Justin. So I figured, hey, if I take out this guy and do it better, they have to put me on top of the list to go for a world title. So that was one reason why I really wanted the Guyman fight. And again, as you seen, once I started frustrating him, then that's when I knew I had him. Once I got him mentally and I beat him mentally, I knew it from there. I could do whatever I wanted to do in there, and we just had fun doing it.
Now that you've gotten your feet wet in this ring and felt it out, are there any adjustments that you make towards camp? I know that Austin Trout, one of the things he spoke about was also incorporating a Muay Thai gym so he could feel the clinch positions and
Yeah.
kind of get used to that in close. So that was an additive. Have you done anything
Oh yeah.
to
I mean,
adjust forward?
David told me that right, really, literally off the rip before I even got into the ring the first time. that he wanted me to work with MMA guys just for the clinch and the aggression and things of that nature, and not just solely focus on just boxing, which I respect. Because again, I love how it, like the BKFC is just a mesh of all types of styles and competition from all over. So I couldn't just have the boxer mindset. Again, you seen the last fight. I wasn't blocking with my hands up like a typical traditional boxer. Because again, even getting hit on the hands hurts. Even having your guard too high, punch can still slip and you don't see it coming. So I felt like I took a page out of Austin's book as well in terms of just using the whole ring into my advantage and just being smart and knowing when to get in and get out of the danger zone.
How dedicated of a process was that, camp, to make some of those just initial adjustments to get past some of that defensive
Mhm.
muscle memory that you've built up for decades?
It was definitely a big adjustment. Even here in Southern California, we actually use a smaller ring, you know what I'm saying, just to get used to having somebody always on you, throwing punches at you, and not relying so much on having, guarding with your hands. So again, we use a smaller ring here just to get used to, you may get a guy who's just gonna try to jump all over you from beginning to the end. So instead of you sitting there curling up in the corner, you gotta fight back. I feel like with the BKFC, you got to start a little bit more faster than traditional boxing, where you can take a few rounds and then you get your rhythm. Because, I mean, again, it's only 2 minute rounds. It's only 5 rounds. So I felt with this camp, we basically worked on starting a lot faster as soon as the first bell rings and going from there and making adjustments as we go along.
What has it been like also in this process, the new sport? Has it been almost invigorating for you to have this new puzzle to be figuring out that's bare knuckle?
It's like a breath of fresh air because it's something, again, like you mentioned, anything new always feels good. Even a brand new car feels good. You know what I mean? Brand new house, what I'm saying, feels great. So just for me diving into something new and then getting to and being allowed to fight for the pinnacle, the title at the very top and potentially going on to doing great things as champion, that's probably one of the best feelings you can ask for as a competitor.
I brought up Austin's name once already, but you could match the feat that he's accomplished and become a crossover sport world champion. What would that kind of feat mean to you?
Oh, it'll mean the world. It'll mean the world that, what I'm saying, that I still have a lot in me. That anyone, it doesn't matter who you are. If you have a strong mindset and the eager and the growth into wanting to learn and adapt and do different things, you can. It all depends on, saying, how you feel at the end of the day. So if I can go out here and win big and, saying, and match the same feat as Austin, that's a badge on my chest right there alone. And I'm actually happy for Austin. He's going for his second world championship. So it's just great to see him, even at his boxing career, going to do great things. And you can see within him as well that he has like a new sense of a purpose rather than he did at the end of his boxing career. And with the BKFC, he's just happy. And I know exactly where he's coming from.
You just said something that touches also on the background. We couldn't go too far into the interview without touching on the flag behind you that's
Yeah.
prominently displayed. And you said a sense of purpose, and how much does that coincide with as a young man when you found the military, also kind of finding a sense of purpose?
I mean, I pretty much became a man in the Marine Corps because I was 17 years old and I had my 18th birthday in boot camp. So the Marine Corps is pretty much, really all I know as an adult. But to go out here around Memorial Day weekend again, compete for the highest honor, which is the world title, and to represent the Marine Corps is always a huge is a huge honor. But again, I don't take it, I never take it lightly. And I'm just happy that, I have my Marines still rooting and following behind me as I represent them as much as they represent me.
Always got to thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
The fight, Nate Maness. Were you familiar with that name before they presented it with you?
I caught of his couple of for obviously his BKFC fights because again when every time the BKFC comes on I do sit down to watch it as a fan just to watch it. So I've been familiar with him and I knew that he was going to be somebody that was going to be good on that level from what he's done in his first two fights. So again, I wasn't surprised when David gave me the call and told me, okay, it wasn't going to be Justin, that was going to be the guy. You know what I mean? But so I give all respect and credit to Nate, despite what people may say about his UFC career and everything like that. I mean, I believe it takes a lot just to get to the UFC. So I respect him for that feat as well.
He's a solid fighter, more than a credible MMA run, over I think it's like 77% winning percentage in MMA. We've seen what he's been able to do in bare knuckle. As you're indulging, what have you found is particularly intriguing about his game?
Oh, he's going to come forward. He's going to come forward. Unlike Guyman. Guyman was a little tricky. He's bouncing all over the place, but I know Nate is definitely going to come. He's going to come bring the fight. He's going to come looking for the stoppage. So, but I think that helps me because that's going to create openings because, just quick twitch muscles. I can get out of a way of a punch and I can counter back with something of my own. So I think it's going to be a lot of excitement. He's still a dangerous guy. I never take anything lightly. He's here for a reason. But I think his style is going to work a lot more in my favor compared to Guyman's style.
Also, and I know you don't want to probably think of it in this direction, but your experience just in boxing is probably going to be a lot more than the experience that he's ever had to go up against live. So, how much do you feel like that at some point in the fight could be an advantage, just that you've been to world class
I mean,
depths?
experience always plays an advantage, but you still can't take it for granted. You still have to go out there and play as if like this is like for me mentally. I have to prepare like this is still my toughest challenge, so I can always stay sharp and not fall asleep behind the wheel and get lackadaisical in there. So, but definitely I know like I said I've been to the Olympics. I've been I fought in many world title fights. I got a deep amateur career. I got a deep professional career, but it's all useless if I don't take all that experience and use it in the correct way going into this fight.
When you think about it in everything that you've accomplished, world champion boxing, attempting to become a world champion in bare knuckle, as you said, the Olympics, are you purposely trying to put yourself into the argument when we're talking about these all-time great combat sports athletes, as we now have so many varied combat sports and people jumping around? We bring up an Alex Pereira and Austin Trout, guys that have kickboxing, boxing, MMA. Are you trying to enter yourself also in that kind of conversation?
Absolutely, Micah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to be, for me, especially coming from Long Island, we usually look down upon from the guys in like the bigger boroughs like the Bronx, Manhattan, whatever. I want to be, what I'm saying, I want to be the guy that's been known like Long Island produces great fighters, and then we go from there in terms like you mentioned on the national stage and in the world level. Like I just want to go on and just, represent where I'm from and still be considered one of the best fighters to come out of that side of the world.
He's been a serviceman. He's been outspoken about mental health, which we haven't even got an opportunity to touch on. A world champion, a world class athlete, a world class spokesman for the sport. And he's the headliner of BKFC 89. Jamel Herring, it was an absolute honor to get to touch base
Thank,
with you, sir.
thank you, Mike. And we'll have to talk more. I'm telling you, I feel it in me. I feel like I will become champion, and I look forward to us have come speaking again about what's next in the future, going from being the challenger to being the defending world champion. Because again, my next goal after this is beginning on that BKFC pound for pound list. So if I gotta go for continue fighting the best available out there, I'll do that.
Awesome, sir. Truly can't wait to hear that story.